Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit that subscribe button if you're new so you don't miss any of our great football content this season. All right, it's Sunday. This time I'm in my LA office, which is not much of an office. It's a room with whiskey in the back. John Middlekauff, the former NFL scout, got his 3 and Out podcast. Let's just start with the Green Bay Packers 28, end zone interception, Bears 21. Caleb didn't have a very good first half, and he didn't have a very good final throw. But when I'm watching this game, Jordan Love was very good early, but Green Bay looked exhausted in the second half because Caleb just kept extending drives with plays. I wrote down multiple notes during the game, John, and all these young quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders, Bo Nix, they're all uneven except Drake May. Everybody's, you don't know when today, J.J. McCarthy was pretty good. But I in the second half, I did feel like, Caleb makes plays, and Jesus, does he have an arm? A couple of those throws in the final drive are and this is cold weather. It's a great defense. I don't know. I think this, it's not pretty, but I think losing to arguably the best team in the league with Jeff Hafley's defense, 28-21, he doesn't throw picks. It was just a bad throw by him. He was short. I come out of that and I'm like, those are two really good football teams to me.
Yeah, I thought the Bears were a big winner today. At one point in time, it's 14-3, and you're like, I could see this being like a 31-10 final.
Yeah.
And he's 6-13 in the first half. Ben's trying to make him play like a pocket quarterback, and what happened in the second half? You kind of got to let him run around and cook. That's him, and they let him run around and cook, and he made a lot of plays. Ben Johnson was fantastic in the second half. That one drive, when it was 21-14, and they went 17 plays, almost 9 minutes, they ran a quick screen to Burton on a third down, got a first down. The touchdown pass to slip the tight end out. It was like, man, the Bears were impressive today. Mental toughness, physical toughness. Because early on, the Packers, they were hitting on defense like they were the 85 Bears. I'm like, it's 10 degrees out there. You got Brady wearing 17 layers up in the booth, freezing his you-know-what off. I'm like, this place looks miserable. And the Bears kind of prove what we've seen all season. They don't really tap out. And that was a game. There was a moment where you're like, it's in Green Bay. It'd honestly be understandable. They'd won a bunch of games. They've had a great season. It's like, hey, they end up winning 12 games. You can lose this, by a couple touchdowns, and no one's even going to judge you. But when they tied it at 21-21, my first thought was, this Bears team's real. And when they got the ball back at 28-21, I didn't think for a second they weren't going to drive down the field.
I felt the same way.
I didn't know if they were going to win it or not, but I knew I would have bet big money that they were going to be in the red zone and have a shot. And that's exactly what happened. I did think, listen, a lot going on. This is the first time this franchise has been in a moment like this in a long time. I thought they didn't manage the clock great because it went from like a minute to 27 seconds really fast.
Really fast.
So I think their back was against the wall a little quicker than they thought. And they called that play that worked for him last week. And Caleb was just a little late and obviously underthrew it.
Yeah, he could have run for the first down actually, but I think to his credit, earlier this year he had a similar kind of play and he ran it in for a touchdown, and we all said he could have thrown it. Here he opts to throw it, and we've noted this many times. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He really doesn't. He's pretty good at throwing the ball in a tough spot, but not giving the defender. Some of it's velocity. He throws the ball so hard, it's not an easy ball to intercept. No. At one point, Green Bay had 149 passing yards to 11 passing yards advantage. And I even wrote down here, lousy Caleb first down, 1 of 6 on third down. But, and I think this is kind of the meld between coaching and quarterback play, is that you do have to, and Andy Reid, who you know well, you got to let Mahomes kind of do his thing. Greg Cosell says on my show every week, he's just kind of now, Mahomes is a playmaker. He's not a classic pocket guy. He throws most of his stuff moving. Now, some of they have a really bad offensive line. But, it's funny because I watched Jordan Love. I think you'd admit this. Jordan loves throwing the deep ball. He loves going, and he's got the arsenal to do it. Caleb is doing a lot of tough throws, John. He's rolling to his right, throwing to the sideline. He's making a lot of throws down the seam. the degree of difficulty with some of the Caleb throws, to me, it's like we got to, Jordan loves to go over the top, and he's got the art, and he's got the guys to do it. But I don't know. I just look at this, and I think Green Bay, there's an argument. They're as good as anybody in the league. I don't know if I trust New England in the postseason. They don't run the football. The weather is going to be crappy. But I came out of this thinking, are these two, like when I watched this weekend, I watched Indiana play Ohio State, and I'm like, those are two of the three best teams I've seen in college football. I'm watching Bears and Packers today. I think Green Bay would have blown out a lot of people. I don't think they would have blown out the Rams. I don't, you know what I mean? But I'm like you. I came out of this second half. I thought Chicago pretty much they controlled the clock. The degree of difficulty. Football season's here, and if you want to go to an NFL or college football game, Game Time is the place for you. The Game Time app just gives you the advantage back to you, the fans. It's a hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. I love it. Easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price, 100%. So they even let you preview your seat on the app. That's special. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay every time. Take the guesswork out of buying professional football tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account. If you use the code Colin, COLIN, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code COLIN, $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
Well, when it's 10 degrees like that game to me, and I wasn't at either place, obviously, but was dramatically more difficult to play than, let's say, the Bills game, which was snowing, but didn't feel as frigid. Right now, those quarterbacks were like that game. It's hard to catch. Every time a guy's tackled, you went, oof. What's his name gets kicked in the chin. That had to feel like he landed on concrete. I mean, So the physicality of that game, but to me, running the ball in those environments is huge, and the Bears can. They got two running backs who are good. And Josh Jacobs on that final drive, which ended up being the game-winning drive. I mean, that 1 3rd down play, it should have been a TFL. And what did he do? He cut it, he broke a tackle, and what did he gain? Like 15 yards? And so it's basically Josh Jacobs versus their two running backs. He had looking 80 yards, and those two guys had over 100 yards combined. So it's a very physical game, long drives. Now, the difference is Jordan Love, like you said, Christian Watson, I looked it up when he scored a second touchdown, has 5 touchdowns last 4 games.
Yeah.
And he is, I mean, in the transfer portal era, I don't know if North Dakota State would have kept him. He's big. He looks really good right now. He's flying, and Jordan Love took notes on those Aaron Rodgers kind of back foot, just let it fling because he is on the money. He's playing well, and he was, beside the one pass, he was really good today. Defensively, the Bears off, and you've talked about this, adding those offensive linemen, they kind of leaned on them on those last drives in the fourth quarter, and you could tell Micah Parsons is sucking wind. You could tell all those guys, even Caleb in the huddle, trying to catch his breath. That was a playoff game. I mean, that wasn't. That was a playoff game. That was fantastic theater. I mean, I'm sure you were. I'm sure all of America were. I'm sure the numbers are going to be huge. That was excellent football. I mean, I'm glad the Bears are good. That was forever. When's the last time the Bears and Packers played in a real game that mattered? It's always been the Packers and Aaron Rodgers going, I own you. That was cool.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the Packers have done it, if you take Micah out, mostly drafting and developing. Most of those receivers, your Watson, Reed, a lot of that. Now, Josh Jacobs is an acquisition, but they've done a little of both. But, give Ryan Poles credit. DJ Moore, they got in a trade. Drew Dahlman, their 3 interior offensive linemen, Joe Thuney, Montez Sweat. They've taken swings. They missed on Chase Claypool. That was a miss. It's not that they haven't drafted some good players. They got their right tackle and Caleb Williams, obviously, but DeAndre Swift was a move. Chicago has been a little bit like Green Bay and Philadelphia and the Rams. They'll go in the league and they'll take some swings. And when I watch Chicago play, I always said, to win a Super Bowl, you have to have your 7 best players mostly have to be in their prime. Well, Dahlman is, Thuney is, DJ Moore is, Sweat is. I'll tell you, Loveland and Caleb Williams now, that's becoming a real relationship. He's not in his prime yet, but you can tell that's Caleb's guy.
Well, I would say this too: the draft. Luther Burden, he had 4 catches for 67 yards, a big catch on that final drive.
Yep.
To kind of get that drive going. Loveland had the touchdown pass and just makes big plays. Manunjai is what, a seventh round guy? I mean, he looks fantastic. He looks every bit the same as Swift. So now you have a 1-2 combination. The Packers are, the backup did have a nice run, but I mean, they're going to ride Josh Jacobs like you would Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey. The Bears having multiple running backs with a coach that's not afraid to lean on them and does a good job of scheming up the run. Ben Johnson on the drive that tied at 21-21 had a couple play calls that were just fantastic. And he one thing that's going to be hard for him because you can tell like his nature. I mean, he's a little tight. It's hard for him to let Caleb just kind of be USC Caleb.
Yep.
And if they're going to go and win playoff games and win a game like today, you gotta let him be him. And he tried. I mean, he gave him multiple options on that last play. I think they thought that. I think it was Komet was the tight end that he was throwing to would be a little more open. The DB made a good play, and then Caleb was probably a half step late.
Generally, in the rule in the end zone, if you throw it to the front, throw it low. If you throw it to the back, throw it high. So Caleb kind of got caught in between. It was high, but not high enough.
Weather plays a part, doesn't quite fly because his arm doesn't.
Yeah, it's a dead ball. The other thing it was, this was a really important game for Green Bay. They were a 6.5-point favorite, John. If they lose this game at home to Chicago, we say we all wanted to watch, but the Bears were almost a touchdown dog. There was some pressure on Green Bay, and
I think it was all on Green Bay. I think it was 100% on Green Bay. The Bears were playing with house money from where I was sitting.
Yeah, and I think they took Green Bay's best shot and vice versa. I just thought it was fantastic. That's about as good as NFL gets. Between Indiana, Ohio State, and Green Bay and Chicago, we've had some good weekends, but Chicago's a legitimate NFL team, and unlike Detroit, which is you're not quite sure what you get week to week. Also, I do think it's a disadvantage having, Jared Goff. There's certain things you can't do. A couple of times today, Caleb escaped the pocket on those last 2 drives, and I'm like, Jesus, he really does have a nice sense of what's around him. Burrow's got this. Burrow just kind of feels it. He can just kind of tell. So maybe it's hearing, but there were a couple of times today with Caleb, I'm like, man, some of that's instinctive. You can't teach some of that stuff with his pocket feel.
Well, I think right now, him and Josh Allen are the best scramblers. Burrow doesn't go that far outside the pocket, right? He's just great at moving up, moving to the left, but he's staying within, a 3 or 4 yard kind of radius, and then to get rid of the ball. Caleb and Josh take off to then throw, especially Caleb. Josh also runs probably more than Caleb. Caleb will run for a first down, but to me, it was huge for the Packers because if they lose this game, the Bears would have multiple more wins, but the Rams dominate today. Seattle dominates. The Niners are going to come off a bye. They're playing the Titans. So all of a sudden you look, are you headed to be the 7 seed? Which, would have been a major problem given that you just made this huge trade for Micah Parsons. The expectations and their team, you watch them, they are a legitimate team that can win the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense, and if they get ahead and those rushers can just fly, their DBs hit. I mean, their defense is, the Bears defense isn't that great. Right? No. They make plays and they come through in big moments, but the Packers, I would say 10 of their 11 guys are hitting kind of like an old school Denver and Seattle team a decade ago. That's a high-end defense.
And Jeff Hafley, they run a lot of stuff. Yeah. I mean, that one play where, Micah is literally almost jumping, then he scales back, and within a heartbeat, he's 12 yards off the line of scrimmage in space.
They got versatile players, right? Micah's a unique player. Rashawn Gary's a unique player. I mean, you look at those two guys. Wasn't Rashawn Gary the number 1 overall recruit when Jim Harbaugh got him?
He was number 1 D lineman. Yep.
I don't know where Micah fell, but I would imagine pretty high when he went to Penn State. So you're talking about some elite blue chip kids from when they were like 15, 16. And you watching them now. I mean, those two guys alone, you don't know what to do, right? With 52 and number 1. I mean, their team speed up front. I mean, Caleb, what did they say? He ran 20 miles an hour again. and they are right behind him. I mean, usually Caleb, when he gets away, it's like he's got a little gap. Today, I think he's not used to a guy literally going step for step with me, and he had to adjust as the game went, and he did.
Right.
I mean, Caleb, listen, his accuracy issues, at times can be a little maddening, but there is no disputing his, we see some guys, you're like, how is this guy a high pick? This guy's physical attributes are pretty eye-opening, and they're actually, today in the cold was, because he made a comment, Brady said, that he felt more confident in a cold weather game. He's a DC kid. He's used to playing in the cold weather. And, he's 6 of 13 in the first half. I'm like, But as the game went on, like his ball is not going to be affected, throwing that laser.
Oh, my God.
The Duvernay pass rolling to his right late in the game and the touchdown pass to Zacchaeus, which was an incredible pass and catch.
Yeah, no, I would say if you just lined up arm talent in the league and just in velocity, Caleb's top 3 or 4 in the league.
Might be
his ball totally cuts through bad weather.